What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection for 2012 and on to the war section. One of my favorite sections. I love war movies, so let's get started. Up first we have the All Quiet on the Western Front from 1930. Great film directed by Louis Milestone about World War I, one of the best anti-war films ever made. Okay, next we have Apocalypse Now, the complete dossier from 1979, directed by Francis Ford Coppola with Martin Sheen, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, one of the great films about Vietnam. Next we have Attack with Jack Palance and Eddie Albert from 1956. A good film set during World War II. Next we have my Band of Brothers tin from 2001, just outstanding, produced by Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg with Damian Lewis and Mon Livingston. Just a fantastic series, one of the best things made in the 2000s, film or miniseries. Either way, it's just brilliant. Next we have Baton from 1943, one of the films I'm going to be watching in the upcoming weeks. Okay, next we have Battle of Britain from 1969, great film, all-star cast, people like Harry Andrews, Michael Caine, Trevor Howard, Kurt Jurgens, Laurence Olivier, Christopher Plummer, Michael Redgrave, Ralph Richardson, Robert Shaw, great film. Next we have Battle of the Bulge from 1965 with Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw again, one of my favorite actors, Robert Ryan and Dana Andrews. Brilliant film about the battle between Allied forces in Germany in Belgium in the winter. Just a fantastic film. Next we have Battleground from 1969. I haven't watched this in a long time. Don't really remember much about it. Okay, next we have The Big Red One from 1980, directed by Samuel Fuller. Really good film with Lee Marvin, Mark Hamill, and Robert Carradine. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Next we have Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down from 2001 with Josh Hartnett. Yeah, just a brilliant film set in Somalia. Okay, next we have Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot from 1981. Classic film, just great. Okay, next we have The Bridge on the River Kwai from 1957, directed by David Lean. One of my favorite World War II films with David Niven. Yeah, just brilliant. David Niven. Alec Guinness, sorry. I always get those two mixed up. Anyway, next we have A Bridge Too Far from 1977. Brilliant film about Operation Market Garden that failed during World War II. It was sort of a sweep by the Allies after the invasion of Normandy to get to Berlin by taking a bunch of bridges that failed. But it's a great movie. All-star cast: James Caan, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, Edward Fox, Gene Hackman, Anthony Hopkins, Laurence Olivier, Robert Redford. Yeah, love that movie. Next we have The K Mutiny from 1954 with Humphrey Bogart, Van Johnson, Jose Ferrer, and Fred McMurray. Really good movie. Great performance by Bogart. Next we have Catch-22 from 1971, directed by Mike Nichols with Alan Arkin, Arthur Garfunkel, Bob Newhart, Anthony Perkins, Martin Sheen, John Voight. Really good film. Kind of weird though. Next we have Cold Mountain from 2003. Really good film with Nicole Kidman, Renee Zellweger, Jude Law, Natalie Portman. Great film directed by Anthony Minghella. Next we have Cross of Iron from 1977, directed by Sam Peckinpah. Haven't watched this in a while either. I love that cover though for this DVD. Okay, next we have The Deer Hunter from 1978, directed by Michael Cimino or Cimino. Great film with John Cazale, Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and Meryl Streep, John Savage. One of the best, my favorite Vietnam War films. Just a great movie. Next we have Defiance from a couple years ago, 2008, with Daniel Craig. Really good film about Prussian Jews hiding out in the forest. Yeah, really good film. Next we have Destination Tokyo from 1943 with Cary Grant and John Garfield. Also, we'll be watching that in the upcoming weeks. Next we have The Dirty Dozen from 1967, one of my favorite World War II films with Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, Charles Bronson, Jim Brown. Just awesome cast. Telly Savalas. Yeah, absolutely love The Dirty Dozen. Next we have Empire of the Sun, a great Steven Spielberg film from 1987. Very young Christian Bale. Doesn't get talked about much when you talk about Steven Spielberg's work, but it's one of his best films. Next we have Enemy at the Gates from 2001. A really good film with Joseph Fiennes, Jude Law. Awesome performance by Ed Harris, Rachel Weisz, and Bob Hoskins. Okay, next we have The Enemy Below with Robert Mitchum and Kurt Jurgens, I believe from 1958, something like that. Could be off though. Next we have the double pack of Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima from 2006, both directed by Clint Eastwood. Two brilliant films set on Iwo Jima. First about the Americans raising the flag after the battle. My favorite of the two is Letters from Iwo Jima. Fantastic movie. Ken Watanabe, awesome. My second favorite film of that year. And both were in my top 10. Next we have Flyboys from 2006 with James Franco. Not a great film, but the flying effects are cool and I like it, I'm not gonna lie. It's enjoyable enough. Next we have Full Metal Jacket from Stanley Kubrick, of course, 1987 classic. Just a brilliant film with Matthew Modine, Adam Baldwin, Vincent D'Onofrio, and what's his name as the drill sergeant, forgetting his name. Anyway, next we have Gallipoli from 1981, great film by Peter Weir, starring Mel Gibson. Great film set during World War I. Next we have Gettysburg from 1993 with Tom Berenger, Jeff Daniels, and Martin Sheen. Very long, but worth it. I was not a fan of Gods and Generals. I actually fell asleep during that movie when I saw it in the theaters, but I still like Gettysburg a lot. Okay, moving on down, we have Glory from 1989. Sorry about the glare. One of my favorite, well, it is my favorite film about the Civil War with Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, Cary Elwes, and Morgan Freeman. Great film directed by Edward Zwick. Next we have The Great Escape from 1963. One of my all-time favorite films, not just war movies. Probably my second favorite World War II movie. Steve McQueen, James Gardner, Richard Attenborough. Just a brilliant film. Donald Pleasance, Charles Bronson, James Coburn. I absolutely love this film. Never get tired of watching it. Next we have The Great Raid from 2005 with Benjamin Bratt, James Franco, Connie Nielsen, and Joseph Fiennes. Yeah, pretty underrated little movie. Next we have The Guns of Navarone from 1961. Great film starring Gregory Peck, David Niven, and Anthony Quinn. Yeah, also one of my favorite World War II movies. And sort of the unofficial sequel, Force 10 from Navarone from 1978 with Robert Shaw and Harrison Ford. James Nero is in it as well. I've seen this countless times. Barbara Bach and Edward Fox as well. It's got a great sort of James Bond cast. Yeah, I've seen that film like so many times I can't tell you. Next we have Halls of Montezuma from 1958, I believe, with Richard Widmark. Okay, next we have Hell is for Heroes from 1962 with Steve McQueen and Bobby Darin, Fess Parker. Watched that last year. Next we have Howard Hughes' Hell's Angels from 1930 with Jean Harlow, Ben Lyon, and James Hall. It's the film that Leo DiCaprio is making at the beginning of The Aviator. Next we have The Hurt Locker, the Oscar-winning film, of course, directed by Kathryn Bigelow, starring Jeremy Renner, from 2009. Great movie, brilliant performance by Renner. Really sort of made him a star, and Kathryn Bigelow obviously followed that up with Zero Dark 30 this past year, which was brilliant as well. Next we have Inglourious Bastards, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Also one of the best films of 2009. Just a great film. Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, Melanie Laurent, Jessica Chastain, just brilliant as well. Okay, next we have Jarhead from 2005, really underrated film, directed by Sam Mendes with Jake Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard, Chris Cooper, and Jamie Foxx. I absolutely love Jarhead. Don't know why it gets a lot of shit. It's a brilliant movie. Next we have Kelly's Heroes from 1970, one of my favorite World War II films. Great cast, Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, and Donald Sutherland, hilarious. Yeah, I love this movie. I've seen it probably 24 times. Next we have The Long Voyage Home from 1943 with John Wayne. Might be wrong on the year there. That doesn't sound right. Next we have The Longest Day from 1962, sort of the Saving Private Ryan of the 1960s. Got an all-star cast. Sean Connery, very young Sean Connery, same year he did Dr. No, so he wasn't really well known when he made this movie, but there's a lot of faces that are in this film. Who else is in this? John Wayne, I know, is in it. Yeah, it's a great movie. If you like Saving Private Ryan, definitely watch that. Next we have Macarthur, starring Gregory Peck from 1977. Next we have Memphis Belle from 1990. Great young cast. Who's all in this? Eric Stoltz, Sean Astin, to name a few. Yeah, great movie. Next we have Mr. Roberts from 1955. Great film starring Henry Fonda, James Cagney, William Powell, and Jack Lemmon. Next we have No Man's Land from 2001. Great film, I believe winner of Best Foreign Film that year. Yeah, just a brilliant movie set during the Bosnian War. Yeah, just a really good film. Okay, next we have Operation Pacific with John Wayne and Patricia Neal from, I have no idea offhand, I believe 1958, but I could be wrong. 51, so I was way off. Next we have The Pacific on Blu-ray. Again, great miniseries. Not as good as Band of Brothers, but really stylish looking, just really great. Still need to finish watching it, to be honest. I saw like most of it when it was on TV. Anyway, next we have The Patriot from 2000, starring Mel Gibson. I really like this film. Heath Ledger, what's his name? I always mess up his name. Jason Isaacs, awesome as the villain. Chris Cooper, Checky Cario, really good as well. Yeah, I really like The Patriot, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, next we have Patton, classic from 1970, starring George C. Scott in his greatest performance, of course, as the great General Patton, and Carl Malden. Awesome film. Next we have Pearl Harbor from 2001. One of my favorite Michael Bay films. I'm not gonna lie, I love Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett in this. Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, I like Pearl Harbor. The Battle of Pearl Harbor. Those scenes are fantastic. One of the few movies I saw more than once in the theaters. Okay, next we have Platoon from 1986, my favorite Vietnam War film and one of my all-time favorite war movies, directed by Oliver Stone, Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, Charlie Sheen, just awesome. I absolutely love this film. Okay, next we have Red Dawn, the original, of course, from 1984 with Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, Charlie Sheen, Jennifer Grey. Absolutely awesome. Rewatched it a couple months ago before the new Red Dawn came out. And I gotta be honest, the Red Dawn from last year wasn't too bad. It got the spirit of the original film right. Some good action scenes, good cast. I liked Chris Hemsworth. I didn't like the guy who played his brother that much, but yeah, I'll probably be getting the new Red Dawn. It was okay. Next we have the Sand Pebbles from 1966, starring Steve McQueen, Richard Attenborough, Richard Crenna, and Candice Bergen. Next we have Sands of Iwo Jima from, when this came out, 1949, great film with John Wayne. Next we have Saving Private Ryan from 1998, my all-time favorite World War II film, war movie period. Of course, classic, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore. Yeah, my favorite war movie. Next we have Sergeant York from 1941, starring Gary Cooper. Okay, next we have Sink the Bismarck from 1961. Really good British World War II movie starring Kenneth More and Dana Winter about the famed German battleship and sort of the hunt for it after it destroyed the HMS Hull. Next we have So Proudly We Hail from 1943, starring Claudette Colbert, Paulette Goddard, and Veronica Lake. Also going to be watching that this year. Stay up. Okay, next we have Stalag 17 from 1953. Awesome movie. Next to films like Shawshank and The Great Escape, this is my favorite prison film, starring William Holden. Awesome. Yeah, just an awesome movie. I absolutely love this film. Great performance by Holden. Next we have Three Kings from 1999, directed by David O. Russell with George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and Ice Cube. Awesome film set at the end of the first Iraqi war. Yeah, just a great movie. One of the best films of 1999. Next we have Tigerland from 2000. Great film directed by Joel Schumacher, starring Colin Farrell, sort of pre and early part of Vietnam. Colin Farrell really good in that. Next we have Tora Tora Tora, classic from 1970, of course, about the events of Pearl Harbor. Sort of very straightforward. Yeah, great movie though. Next we have 12 O'Clock High from 1950 or 1949. Great film starring Gregory Peck. Really good performance by him in that. Next we have U571 from 2001 with Matthew McConaughey. What's his name? Harvey Keitel and Bill Paxton. Good submarine movie set during World War II. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's not bad in my opinion. Next we have Valkyrie from 2007. Great film directed by Bryan Singer with Tom Cruise. Great British cast. People like Tom Wilkinson, Bill Nighy, Eddie Izzard, Kenneth Branagh, and Terrence Stamp. Yeah, underrated film in my opinion. Really good. Next we have Wake Island from 1942, the first film Hollywood movie made about World War II, and obviously it was made during World War II. Next we have Steven Spielberg's War Horse from 2011 on Blu-ray. Really good. I really enjoyed it. One of my favorite films of the year. Great score by John Williams, of course. Yeah, I just loved it. Next we have We Were Soldiers from 2002, a great film directed by Randall Wallace, starring Mel Gibson. Really underrated, actually. One of the best Vietnam War films, apart from the big four. I consider Apocalypse Now, The Deer Hunter, Platoon, and Full Metal Jacket sort of the big four. But if I was making five, that would be number 5. Next we have Where Eagles Dare, one of my all-time favorite movies from 1969, starring Richard Burton, Clint Eastwood, and Mary Urey. Just a fantastic action-packed film, and obviously I've mentioned it many times before. I've been to the castle where it was filmed in Austria. Yeah, it was the first time I heard about the movie, and I've watched it several times since then. Next and last but not least, we have Windtalkers from 2002. Sort of got a lot of crap, but I like this film, directed by John Woo, starring Nicolas Cage. Yeah, good movie set during World War II, and America enlisting the help of Navajo Indians to sort of send messages so they don't get decoded easily. Anyway, so that's the war section. Up next will be the westerns. Sort of very similar in a way. A lot of John Wayne to come. So Ian, I know you're looking forward to that. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you.